Alright, so here we are. I just think this will be a cool video. I mean, I don't know how many people know this. I learned it, a lot of things from having my Focus ST, and a lot on the forums a lot, and learning a lot about tuning and the parameters I should tune. And I'll just say right now, I mean, that was years and years ago, and I have forgotten. I mean, just out of sight, out of mind. I mean, I just lost it. It all just drained away. So I've got to learn a lot more again, learn it over. But here I've got my Ecutek tune. We're going to start that up, and I got the OBD reader port thing installed in my car. I'm going to go to my car in the Ecutek app. Okay, and then I guess I got to go to Datalogging, and I got to set up what I want. I need to remember how to do that. Okay, so here we go. I don't know if you can see this. I don't have my phone. So I'm going to pick my parameters. Fuel trims have a lot to do, are very important to monitor. I just haven't learned that much. I can't remember that much about knowing and reading the fuel long-term and short-term. I've watched some videos on that. We know we want current gear. Ignition timing correction. Knock retard. I mean, I just don't know. I can't remember. Knock index 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders. It's gonna, on this graph that I'm going to do after to read this for myself and make sense of the numbers. You don't want to have too many lines on that graph because it gets really complicated really quickly and gets confusing. So vehicle speed, well, that'd be good to know so we can see that later. Engine speed, I guess that's the RPM. Seems like that would need to have RPM written there. Engine oil temperature, coolant temperature, charge air temp, that's a pretty important number. Charge air coolant temp. Let's see. Maybe AFR average. An accelerator pedal position. I'd like a percentage. I like to have a position just to tell you if you're 75 or 100% throttle, and when you get off the pedal a little bit or on it to maybe the pedal, the wheel spin. And I just don't know. So this is going to be a learning experience. So we got that. So on the data log, I'm going to hit start right here. I've got my gauges up, and we'll look at that. I've got, and this was just quickly done last night trying to learn this software on the phone. I got torque actual, coolant air, charge air coolant temp here, charge air temp, engine oil temperature. It's good to know, have this on there so you know where you're starting out on a cold morning. You know where your engine oil temperature is. Your air intake air temperature. It says it's 53 degrees outside on my car. So air intake air temperature and knock retard. So, and I guess this is where it starts the log too from here. So we're gonna just go find a safe place to be able to go perform a high-speed pull somewhere a couple of times back to back, and then data zap the numbers down to the computer and be able to look at these on a graph and make sense of it there. So and then I think there's even a way to go online like I used to do. I can't remember how to do it, and you can enter in some of these important numbers and it'll tell you an estimate of how much torque and horsepower your car is making, and it's actually pretty accurate. So we'll come back and once I do these runs and maybe get some video of that, and then the computer work that I'm going to do so that people can see how that's done. So let me pause my GoPro. I got the car in coming up on the spot. Got the car traction controls off. It's in sport mode. Likely going to put it in the manual mode and maybe do a second gear run. Traffic in Dallas is crazy, insane. It doesn't matter if it's 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, or 3 in the morning. Traffic is congested. It's unbelievable, the traffic in Dallas. But I'm gonna try to do my best and see what we can do. A couple pulls, one going down this bridge and one coming back, depending on how I can time this. All right, there's that. Third gear. Let them get a little ahead of me. How fast we got up, I was too busy looking at the front of the road. Now my radar detector's going off. Hopefully they don't have a secret radar set up somewhere and a cop waiting at either end. That would be horrible. Alright, here goes the second run. I'll go slow and let them cars pull out. Hopefully I don't get arrested today. We're in third gear. Okay, so I've data logged my car with the app. Had to get a new phone. My other phone crapped out, had some problems. I won't go into that detail, but so all right, so here we have our phone, and we're going to log into the Ecutek program or software on the phone. And so I've data logged the files. The phone has to be with the car, and you can hit my car and it recognizes and it starts up. But when you're away from the car, you can't log into your car. So you can go to My Files. So we're going to hit My Files, and we're going to go to Data Logs Recorded. These earlier ones were just false ones I did accidentally, just tooling around with the program or the software. So these were 1, 2, and 3 today. It's got your date and your time and your car and the size of the file. So you can send those to yourself by by clicking on them, clicking that link right there, and then you can send it to yourself in your email. So you just send those to yourself in your email, and then you come back, and now we're to the next part. You open up your email, you know, in your software, and there. Let me get this a little better here, positioned a little off center. Here you have your three emails that got sent to you. You open them up and you save them to your desktop right here, and I labeled them how I wanted to label them. So, and then that takes us to our next step. We're going to go to, this is back from my 2013, 14 days when I was really into tuning and knowing more about it, and being on the forums a lot and getting a lot of cool information from other people. So DataZap, this was, I guess, a program or online website that takes data logs and puts them into a graph so that you can see everything and make more sense of it. So here you go. You got to log in and create an account, and mine is SIG edition Q50S, and you can save these and share these with friends, and then friends can log in and view your data logs and information. So I'm going to move this over just a hair. I'm going to go upload log, and I want this first one. It's the English CSV. And then I'm going to, it says you can drag up to 3 files, but I'm just going to keep one because there's like 10 variables that I'm data logging. So I'm going to just go browse, and I'm going to go to my file 1. That was my first one. Open. I'm just going to real quickly, data log title. It's for an infinity. Just so if you have a lot of logs in previous years, or you can identify what car you were running, Q50S, and I'm going to put Joe Tech Tune, 410 horsepower, and select fueling. You don't have to do all this stuff, but 93 octane just helps you remember. You can put your YouTube link in there if you want to attach some YouTube video. Data notes was performed today, which is Monday, January 20th, and it was at 2:17, comma, time 2:17 p.m. All right, so we got that information. You can add whatever you want. It's pretty self-explanatory. And I'm gonna go save. And now it's gonna produce my DataZap for me. Like I said, it can get, if you need to do this on a big screen, it's gonna make a lot more sense. So here's all the parameters that I was logging. And then as you scroll down, as you scroll across, you may not be able to fit them all on one screen. I have a 27-inch something that iMac screen, so it's a pretty large screen. And then as you scroll down, you've got all this time. You know, this is when you start it and when you end it. Depending on when you end it and when you end it, this is the time as it runs down. So as you progress down, you're progressing across. So as you get into the throttle more, that'll be down in the lower parts of the graph, and you can access that by, you know, moving your mouse wheel down or coming over here and moving this up or down. And then to see my logging parameters were I have to be honest, I haven't done this in a long time, and I knew fresh on my mind a lot more information about logging and about what I needed to log and things I needed to check, and actually, you know, how they affected on the graph, and versus, you know, the safety of the car and versus hazardous for the car. So I'm gonna have to go back and learn some more and look up some things. But here, I remember the things I kind of want to log, and there might be more things or less things. But here you have, I have accelerator pedal load. Let me see if I can, oh yeah, so that's right here. And so that when you come up here and you click with your mouse on these things here, it'll drop them on, because it'll get real confusing fast if you have all these highlighted. So you can do that, but it's easier to just have a few of them selected. And then, because like I said, if you have them all, I mean, there's just lines going everywhere and you lose track of where they are. So this has the load, and if you put your line on it, it'll tell you what the number is. So this is when I masked the throttle down to 100%. And so it's climbing, it's climbing, it's climbing. And then, so this is 1% load. So I'm at 100% throttle. So this tells me this was my run that I'm interested in, this area right here and this right here. And then you can actually go in and you can crop that out. If you know you don't want all this other stuff and the leading up stuff, you can just crop out from there to there and then just emphasize on that run that you wanted to do. Or you can do multiple runs. If you have a big enough highway or a big enough road, you can do one pull, but I had to go around and turn around and then wait for traffic and then come back. So, I mean, I would have had this huge distance of time and then another run. But usually in the past, I've been able to do on one long highway out in the middle of nowhere, one run, and then, 30, a minute later, do another run and it'll show up right here. And then another run and it'll show up right here. So you can have 3 runs right on the screen, and you can see immediately, how air temperature affects your car's performance, or your boost temps or your compressed air temp. You can see how your timing changes from one run to one run as the car gets hot. But I have 3 different runs, so I can compare them that way. So take off pedal, accelerator pedal percentage load, and go to like charge air coolant temp. And this shows me my run of how my coolant temp, my charge air coolant temp climbed and what it climbed to. And as you see, as I'm moving my mouse over it, I mean, I'm gonna have to move the camera, but it shows me that I peaked out at 108 charge air coolant temp. And I think that probably would have been up to, 10 miles an hour or 20 miles an hour, all the way up to about 130 miles an hour. There is a mile per hour on here, and you can check that out. Let me see here. You got current gear, ignition time. It's just, there's like 200 parameters you can check. Vehicle speed. So I'm gonna go here and go, where's my vehicle speed? All right, vehicle speed. Okay, so that lays this out. So here's my vehicle speed. So 34, 35, it's starting to climb up. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 115, 17, 18, 19, to 122 peak, and then I had to shut down. It was going really, really fast. And then it's really cool because then I can see with this line right here that my charge coolant temp in that, run from a baseline of about vehicle speed 30 miles per hour all the way up to 122 miles per hour. My charge air coolant temp at that point was 102, and then when I started to slow down in speed, it climbed out and maxed up to 108 charge air coolant temp. And so, I mean, this is just invaluable information to check on the performance of your car. Let's see what else. Charge air coolant temperature. There's my coolant temperature of, from the baseline of when I started out, 10 miles an hour and got up to speed. My coolant temp was 201. As I started to go faster, it dropped down to 199 to 201. It maxed out at 203 during that pull from up to 122 miles per hour, and then it dropped down, obviously, as the speed dropped down and air was flowing and I started coasting. So really, I mean,
God, this stuff is so cool that you can data log, and you can see, what else is something cool? You can see your engine oil. There's my engine oil. My engine oil stayed at 198 degrees. And if you run your mouse over that line, stayed at 198. And then it'll as your line crosses all these parameters that it's monitoring, it'll show you what all the numbers are. If so, there's all kinds of ways to accurately check your numbers. So obviously, when I was just starting the run out, my engine oil temp was 190, and it jumped up to 196, and then it hovered at 198 while I was slowing down, and then it started to drop to 196, and then 194. So cool. And then you can check out all these numbers, because all these numbers, as they slide down, they all correlate to going across. So what's something else cool to check? Engine speed. I don't know what the engine speed. I guess that's the engine speed. Yeah, RPM. So here's your RPMs. So I want to close out engine oil temp, coolant temp, air temp. So we have vehicle speed, and engine speed RPM. So engine speed, so the vehicle speed is the orange, and the engine speed RPM is the gray. So here's my RPMs. And if you put if you run this line across, again, it tells you exactly what those numbers are. So I peaked out at 4,597 RPM, engine speed RPM. So I guess that's the gears. Yeah. So this is these lines in the dips is when it's shifting. So up to 6,130 on the that would have been third gear, and you can also do a gear. I think I have a current gear, and you can see gear. Go to the gear, current gear, and this shows that I was in third gear. Now, yeah, so third gear, shift to fourth gear, shift to fifth gear, and it carried out fifth gear all the way. And then as I was coasting down, and I upshifted just to take ease the motor down, and then go back into normal drive mode. So yeah, I think this is like just the coolest thing ever. And I don't know, I could be totally wrong. People on the Q50 forum this could be old news, because I just don't have a clue, and not going to spend all that time to research. But I haven't seen data logs posted on the Q50 forum, and I'm not real sure I've run across any Q50 data log. There's how to data log, but not how to see your data log and then to interpret. These people are just sending their data log directly to their tuner, and they never get to see this stuff. And this is what the tuner can look at, along with the software open with the Ecutek software, and see a lot more for tuning purposes. But this just allows you to see, instead of just seeing the gauges on your Ecutek screen, this allows you to go back and analyze stuff. So very, very cool stuff. And I'm just going to end it there. I'm probably missing a whole lot of cool things. Let's see what else. You got vehicle speed, you got knock retard. So you want to go up here where my mouse is, and you want to go to knock retard. So I'm going to get rid of these lines because it's kind of hard to see. So knock retard. So, and you can have that up to your engine RPM I left up. So before the run, it was negative 1.5 knock retard. And then when I hit the throttle, it started to climb up, and it went up to 0 knock retard. So you have all that, and then as it goes across, it stays at 0. I don't necessarily know, the reading parameters of this. I'd have to do a little more research, but there's all kinds of different parameters that you can look at. So I don't know. There's a lot more to discuss about this, and as I learn more, I'll maybe post some more videos. So I have ignition timing correction. So that is the yellow line. Take away engine speed RPM. Now we'll leave that up there, but knock retard. So here's the ignition timing correction. So obviously this was during my run. I'm going forward on the timeline. So I'm at negative 2.1, and as I hit the throttle and go to 100% throttle, it climbs up to 1.7, 2.1, 2.4, 2.5, and then jumps up to 3.5, and then the car shifts down to 3 and immediately drops down to 2.4. And so with just a little bit of education, you can really learn what's going on with your car and the health of your car. And then, I mean, it's just invaluable information. And then another cool thing I think that is important to do is with this tune, I'm not running as high as boost as with my most powerful tune from Ecutek. So we got boost bank 1 and boost bank 2, and they pretty much mirror each other. So I'm going to turn 1 off, but this is the amount of boost pressure that I was seeing. So obviously this is the shift. And I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to have to do some more research. So charge air coolant temp, charge air temp coolant temperature. We can see what temperature my car was running on the coolant temperature. 201 during the run, and it jumped up a little afterwards to 203, and then it jumped way down to 176. I think what's really cool is let's see. Well, I'm not going to make the video too long. As you can see, you can find out a whole lot of information about your car and its performance. So other than that, I guess this is the end of my video. And man, I'd love to have some more discussions and start sharing data zap logs of our cars running at max power. You know, to see, and if someone knows more than me and tell me that, man, that's really dangerous, or that's, you know, not dangerous at all, and you could go up a lot more. I mean, there's all kind of things you can learn. So I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm not gonna talk on forever. Okay, thanks for watching.